What is up, Rumble? What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Ryan Matta Show. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful solar eclipse day. It is Monday, April 8th. And folks, we are still alive. Some weird things going on out there, but yet here we are. Y2K all over again. Did we get a little bit worked up for absolutely nothing? Well, guess what? I'm bringing on a prepper. He goes by the name of Prepper Dad over on X at myriad. And this man is absolutely prepared for doomsday scenario. So we're going to talk about all things prepping. What happens if the power grid goes down? How should you be prioritizing your life for a worst case scenario? And it kind of looks like we're headed that way with this country. So before I overtalk it, Chris, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Ryan. I sure appreciate the opportunity to come on with you. Great program and your great audience.
Hey, man, God bless you, man. You're putting out such great content out there. You're breaking everything down. You're making sure that people are prepared for every single scenario. And, we need a lot more people like you out there. So it's an honor to have you on the show. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks. And, preppers, because of the lamestream, bought off, mockingbird, horror media, the prepper term obviously has been bunched up with conspiracy theorists and a bunch of kooks, and people have that automatic picture in their minds of a prepper that's moved out west, built machine gun towers, and lined their trails with claymore mines and all that kind of stuff. And that's really not the case. What I'm trying to do is normalize preparedness. I am just a suburban dad. I wish I had 1,000 acres living out west with cows and everything else, but I just don't. And so, and nor everybody does not need to have that, because when you think about preparation, you got to think about the spectrum of what ifs, what can go wrong. It might be a natural disaster. If you live in the North Country, it might be a blizzard. You're down south, might be a hurricane, tornado, that kind of thing. But right now, you and I both know that they are setting us up for an impending financial disaster. So we also have to think about man-made, intentional disasters, financial and otherwise. And so suburban folks, people that live in the cities, everybody needs to have a plan. I used to fly jets in the Marine Corps, and when you're flying, you always have a backup plan. And so every liberty-minded citizen on this entire planet needs to have a backup plan right now.
And so talk me a little bit about, let's start from back when you were in the military. How long did you serve for?
I was in total 32 years. I went to a paramilitary location first, the U.S. Air Force Academy, and then I wanted to be in the real military, so I crossed over into the Marine Corps. Flew jets there in active duty for about 11 years, then joined the reserves, went into business, and so total 32. But it's been a little while since I've flown.
And what year did you say you left the service?
I retired in 2020, right before the crank up of the globalist scheme.
So you've seen it from the inside. You've seen the belly of the beast from the inside, huh?
Oh, I got to tell you, I have. And when I was in the military, I grew up in the 80s. I grew up on Rambo and Red Dawn and Top Gun. I wanted to go kill a commie for mommy so bad. I would have done whatever the politicians and generals had told me to do eagerly. I wouldn't have cared hardly a bit about the whys. I just wanted to go out and pull some triggers. I was that motivated to go out there. What I now know was for the deep state, for Lockheed Martin, for Boeing, for Congress, for the Pentagon, but I didn't know it at the time. So I was full on ready to go. When I left active duty, I went and got a job with Lockheed Martin working on the F-35 program, the pinnacle of government corruption. So I spent almost 2 years there. I couldn't handle the last few months to even make it to 2 years because of what I saw with the Defense Department debauchery going on there. And so I just went off and went self-employed. So I've seen it from the tip of the spear, so to speak, deploying on aircraft carriers and flying all over the place. I've seen it from the defense contractor point. And now what I have learned, especially over the last 4 years, getting on great podcasts, having a friend that runs a great truth podcast, seeing the real nature behind the corruption of our political system. It's not just the military industrial complex, it's the pharmacological industrial complex, the media industrial complex, the medical, all of them. The corruption is so deep, and it's all based on the fiat, fake, false balance financial system that they've enslaved us and the entire world to, which is what you're about, Bitcoin, Bitcoin being an alternative to all that.
Yeah, it gives us, the little man, the ability to rip that power right out of their hands. And I mean, I got so many questions, so I'm not even going to talk. Tell me more about Lockheed Martin. What was it like the first day you worked there? What were you envisioning when you took that job there? Was it what you expected? Did you have an open mind at that time, or when you left and went over there, you were like, you had already seen things were getting corrupt? Or kind of walk me through that experience.
When I first showed up there, I thought I was just going to be supporting God's work and mom and apple pie and Chevrolet and red, white, and blue, freedom, July 4th, all that kind of stuff, supporting it from the other side, from where I had been active duty using the aircraft and systems. I wanted to support the active duty warfighters on the
Did they
defense
headhunt
side.
you?
Not really. I just had a relational connection, and I was trying to get to that certain part of the country because there was a reserve squadron that I could keep flying jets part-time in the Marine Reserves and then work with Lockheed. So it was just one of those things where they had an opening, I applied, and it worked out. But what I saw when I was there, the amount of waste, the pointlessness, and a lot of the people that were just punching time clocks, and Lockheed wanted to have as many people as possible work in the program because that just bloated all the invoices they got to send to Uncle Sugar. And so very quickly I realized that the F-35 was not a weapons program for the good of the warfighters or for freedom. But once you looked at it in the terms of a jobs and a votes program, it makes perfect sense because they pump as many billions into the program as possible, and they stretch it out over as long as possible because that gives the generals and admirals and Congress and the lobbyists the max opportunity to pad their pocketbooks and to live the large life on Capitol Hill and to buy as many votes as possible. And so once I saw that, I began to realize that that's the whole Pentagon program, and it has been for decades. And then I started looking at all the endless wars that we've been in, not just the quote unquote war on terror, which once I started looking at 9/11 and World Trade Center Building 7, and then I started looking at all the other false flags that have been used to manipulate the U.S. public into war, going back 150 years. A thinking person now, not just taking what the media tells them at face value, but considering that pretty much every time we go to war, there's some big event that they use to stir up the American public. We can just take a quick snapshot and go back. We got 9/11. We got
Hold on. Hold that thought, brother. We're over on YouTube, and this conversation is about to get way too good, folks. If you guys are not over on Rumble with us, come over here. We're gonna go deep down this rabbit hole, and I guarantee you're gonna want to hear some of these stories. So, YouTube, we're out. We're out.